Good evening. Our family's always been a pretty close family, and we've always enjoyed getting them all together at Thanksgiving and Christmas, any other holiday, and sometimes without an excuse at all. We just enjoy it. And poetry usually comes up before we bust up and go home. But little children, especially the little ones in my family anyway, don't often pay attention when somebody's reading or reciting poetry. So I wrote this one, just a little short one, to maybe get a laugh or a little grin out of some of the little ones in the family. I called it Holidays. Well, it's time to fill the wood box, hunt up your warm house shoes. Christmas time will be here soon. You kids will be out of school. With the little ones waiting for Santa Claus and us big ones having Christmas cheer. Wouldn't it be fun if we could have Christmas 8 or 10 times a year? But then we wouldn't have time for Halloween or your birthday or mine or Labor Day or 4th of July, and what about Valentine? I guess Memorial Day would just go away, Mother's Day and Father's Day too. The Easter Bunny would lose his job. There's nothing for him to do. Hey, I just had a great idea, and kids, this one's cool. Let's make every day a holiday and all be April Fools. Thank you. This is another one of those that I wrote for my wife. I don't think it was on a special occasion. I just was having these thoughts and I wrote it down. I called it Light in the Window. You were always the light in the window when darkness shrouded the day. Like a beacon on top of a lighthouse, you led me home when I lost my way. You were the bond that held us together when fear and failure came calling. The post I could always lean on any time I felt I was falling. You held tight to all of the pieces when I'd feel them all slipping away. Then you'd put them all back together again, and once more you'd save the day. And when the warmth of the summer sunshine gave way to the north wind and cold, the fireplace could warm up my body, but it was you that warmed up my soul. Well, there's plenty of sweethearts and lovers and friends, but good loyal partners are few. And I know I was blessed a little more than the rest when God partnered me up with you. Thank you. This is the first poem that I ever wrote down on paper years ago, and I haven't done this in a long time. I called it Gathering Strays. They say he was really a wild one, never knew the meaning of fear. He could ride a bronc, rope a wild cow, trip and tie a full-grown steer. They say he was a hell of a cowboy back in his younger day. He could party all night, but when the sun came up, he'd be a horseback gathering strays. He loved whiskey and women and card games. He wasn't afraid to raise. By night, he was gathering trouble. By day, he was gathering strays. Then one night he was riding herd. There came a real bad storm. With no time to ride and warn the camp, he just fired a 3-shot alarm. Then he tried his best to turn the herd, but in the lightning and thunder and rain, those cattle stampeded through that little cow camp with the force of a big freight train. Well, he lost some real good friends that night, and he blamed himself in a way. He knew he'd never be happy again, a horseback out gathering strays. Because he had seen the wrath of God, and he knew his life would change. He knew his cowboy days were over, chasing cattle on the range. So the Cowboy's got a new straw boss now. He reads a good book every day. But he's just riding for a different brand. He's still out there gathering strays.